Folks, I had some technical difficulties.
Right off
What
the
is
bat,
up,
huh?
everybody? This is Jimmy G, and we got Billy the Kid, all sorts of stuff. The countdown may have went weird or things like that. It's funny, my computer just froze, and I had to like kick it off, then kick it back on. The screen froze. So, hey, you know what? It is what it is. But we got a special guest with us today. So, Billy, if you want to introduce yourself and introduce our special guest.
Absolutely. What's up, guys? Billy the Kid here with Jimmy G for another episode of The Forge. Thank you guys for joining us on this beautiful Sunday evening. We've got an amazing guest, a fellow New Jerseyan, although he did leave, Rodimus Primal, one of my favorite reviewers, one of the easiest people in the world to talk to. I'm super excited to have this show with you tonight. So without further ado, Rodimus, please introduce yourself. Tell us where people can find you and what you are about.
So I am a longtime Transformers guy. If those of you are watching on my channel, of course you can, you guys are tuned in watching. I do Transformers retrospectives. I do some toy reviews. I talk Transformers news, and share my opinions, even if not everybody agrees. And it's all good because we're all Transformers fans, and it's all a lot of fun. Getting involved and talking with the community. So yeah. You can find me, of course, on YouTube. I am on X. I am on Facebook. I am on Instagram. And I know some people call it Twitter, but it is what it is. But it's all good. So, yeah.
There we go. Awesome. Excellent. You can find you everywhere. There we go.
Yeah,
except I have yet to get into Discord or Twitch or any of that kind of stuff. So,
are you on Blue Sky?
Blue Sky. I am not on Blue
Sky. What I did with Blue Sky was I just put my name on there just so that there would be no
other,
but there was nobody talking.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, like that meme of John Travolta where he's like looking back and forth, like what's going on over here. So I'm just like, okay, all right, I'm out. So
that's funny. That's awesome. Well, what's cool today, we got some news that we're going to talk about, and then we're going to talk about like the past, present, and future of being a collector. Just a disclaimer I want to put out there: in no way are we going to get political in any form or fashion with whatever the current events that are going on. We're just going to talk about our love of toys and maybe kind of like what we're doing now, and maybe what that's going to do for us in the future, and maybe all that good stuff too as well. So just a warning out there: if you kind of get political, we may have to kind of go boot you out. But anyway, and Billy knows how to boot people out. Like
I boot the shit out of people. Real quick, Kingdom Hearts
Bluey on my channel, and I don't talk politics. So
yeah, there's no politics here at all.
Yeah.
Period. Hello, Rodimus from Kingdom Hearts Bluey. Digital Apple stating, I'm still waiting for my Age of the Prime Silver Bolt to arrive. Unfortunately, I pre-ordered it late, and Amazon still hasn't said when it will arrive. Anybody else?
Totally.
Mine still says delayed. I haven't gotten the cancel yet. Mine still just says.
I haven't gotten anything from Age of the Primes yet, and I intend to get the aerial bots.
Yeah.
Of course, I gotta make my Superion. Of the Studio Series, I have to get the Constructicons as well, so I have to get Devastator. And I want to get Megatronus. I want to get the Fallen. Is like that whole. I think it was Don Figueroa that made that design.
Yep.
Of the Fallen. I'm like, I'm in.
It's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. The coolest, one of the best new Transformer designs in years. Now it's not new at this point.
Effects. You can take those flame effects and put them on other figures.
Yep.
And like take a Waspinator and make him on fire.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Come on,
yeah.
Like you got to be able to do that, Like it'd be just to have fun with Waspinator.
That's for Waspinator.
I know. Like, you have to have a Waspinator. Chicago Kobe. I'm sorry there. I'm stuttering tonight. Went to GameStop, found a long haul 2-pack. The release here is supposed to be April 4th. There is. I do like the Thrilling 30 better because of the thinner insect legs. If that makes sense.
I can get that. I got a different a gun on him. You probably notice.
Yep, I do. Bigger.
It actually is the Stinger, and then Larkin printed me one it connects to that, so that
Larkin's Lair is awesome. So shout out to Larkin's Lair. If you guys haven't shopped there, definitely check out that work. That's who we're talking about. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff there. We have a lot of new people in here saying hello. So Decade Reviews, hello. Confused.
There are a lot of my people. So.
I'm sorry.
There are a lot of my people.
I love it. Well, let's say hello to them. Digital Apple, hey. Yes, and yeah, we're not here for politics. We are here for Transformers. That's it. Man.
Transformers, baby.
Yeah. Hello to everybody. Yeah, my Target has nothing on the shelf yet.
They're slowly but surely coming. My Walmart finally has redone their merchandising, so I was able to pick up most of the Age of the Prime stuff from Walmart.
Nice.
And then my buddy Darth Ravage sent me Megatronus, which was awesome. And then yeah, I'm trying to find Bone Crusher. He's the one I'm missing right now. So trying to look for him. It's funny. I know a few shows ago I said, hey, I'm gonna try to kind of limit myself on Chug and just kind of see what I can do. And then all of a sudden it's like the Godfather Part 3. Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in.
Oh yeah.
Some of these designs, it's just amazing. It's just like darn you, Hasbro, I love you and hate you at the same time, so it's that codependent love there. But why don't we talk some new products and things like that? So
real quick, I did have one question here. That's one big Unicron in the background. Absolutely, that is one big Unicron in the background. I've got the HasLab Unicron, but I 3D printed the files to separate them. So I have a planet mode, I've got a bot mode, and they're there looking beautiful. So thank you so much.
To those who are tuning into my channel currently right now, I am currently sharing a stream with the Forge Transformers Underground. And, just so you guys know, so like those of you who are wondering, like, who is this? Like, where? So, like,
yeah,
obviously I do have a much larger channel. So it kind of, people are like, who are they? Who are they? So like, really the question is for them to know who you are. So
well, that's cool. I mean, we can introduce ourselves. So
yep.
Billy, I'll let you take it first. We'll go back to this welcome screen.
Oh man, so we're doing this now. Okay, well, everybody, thank you for coming in tonight. Jimmy G and I are two reviewers that are partnered up with the Transformers Underground, which is a Facebook group. And we have come together to do a weekly show with other reviewers to basically talk Transformers and bring the communities together. We are here just to make sure that third-party fans, mainline fans, whatever you may like, just understand that we're here for Transformers. So every week is a different guest. Every week is a different topic all about Transformers. And it's just a fun little thing. Jimmy G is one of my favorite reviewers. He's a new boy. No, he's a newbie on the block, right? All right, you are. But you've been growing very fast. And you share a positivity in every review that I enjoy. So you're a wonderful host to share this with. Myself, I'm Billy the Kid. I had a more adult themed channel that started receiving less shares due to my foul language, and I rebranded to Billy the Kid. And I love Transformers, and that's what I'm doing here. So that's us. We are just here to help grow the community of Transformers fans. Rodimus Primal is someone I've been a fan of for many years. When I started out, I looked to him for a little bit of inspiration. Thanks. And I'm just happy that we have him on to talk Transformers.
Yeah, I was kind of like a ninja and just kind of like sniped all these different channels as I was thinking about mine.
That's it.
I started about 2 years ago, and Billy was one of those that I watched. Rodimus, yours was one I watched. Patriot, Deluxe, all these different ones. Razil Kane. And then just decided that, to get out there and kind of try it 2 years ago. And here we are. So I'm still a new guy on this thing. New kid on the block. I'm hanging tough and doing all sorts of good stuff. So, but yeah, there we go. That's us in a nutshell. And this is me in a nutshell.
New York Hunter is wondering how my dad and I are doing. My dad's doing pretty okay. I mean, he lives like 20 minutes away from me. So as far as I know, he's doing well. I mean, I've been, I had a cold this past couple of days, so like I'm just still kind of like fighting it, and which kind of sucks because I intended to do a review, and like I got the figure ready, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this review. I'm this one in particular because of its size. I was going to do it with my son, and but then I just like the allergies hit me, and then all of a sudden it turned into a full blown cold, and I was just like, oh man. So I'm just getting over it. Like my voice is starting to get better, and I still got like retrospectives to write and videos to make. So it's all good. Brandon, I see wanted to know if it was part of the Axelon Underground. That's a long time ago in a galaxy very, very, very far away.
I was going to say that's a different
Way
time.
back in the day. There was that. There was alt.toys.transformers. There was, you're taking us back all the way.
Yeah, man. Back when
old
BWTF was just Beast Wars Transformers and not Ben's World of Transformers. I don't know who Hatchet is, though. I'm sorry. By the way, who is Hatchet? I heard people are terrified of that guy. So if anybody here knows,
probably referring to one of those 3 Decepticons in Dark of the Moon.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense. Yep. Hey, here we go. Speaking of, I met Rodimus at MegaCon Orlando. Great guy. So
thank you.
Love MegaCon.
Yeah, we talk about MegaCon quite a bit on here. Hello, fellow kids. Listen, we got a lot of people saying hello. And yeah, Transformers is ours. Jimmy and I, man, we don't care what generation you're into, man. You could come on and tell me that Rescue Bots is the greatest thing that ever happened to Transformers. And as long as you're talking Transformers with me, man, we're cool. I'm just saying.
That's it.
Now, I know we're about to get into the news. But Digital Apple says, due to recent leaks of getting future animated Ratchet and Wreck-Ar makes me interesting on who we'll be getting next. Wasn't there a leak about a year or two ago about a new Lugnut?
Possibly.
I would love a new Lugnut. But I want that Commander class figure. I'm sorry, Ross?
Lugnut and Armada Demolisher.
Yeah,
and would be awesome. On my top list of Decepticons that I think that need new toys.
I want a better Armada Cyclonus too, to be honest, because that waist doesn't work; like it flops out. So, I like his crazy ass.
You're talking about the helicopter one,
yes.
I would want a better head retooled
with a neck.
Yeah,
not a spring.
No, I'm talking about Studio Series 86.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like for me, that's Cyclonus.
No, so. I agree. Cyclonus is my favorite Decepticon of all time. I wrote a fanfic about Cyclonus taking over them and actually winning. Like, trust me, I would love a better Cyclonus from anybody at any time.
Now, Snowcat, on the other hand, that would be a different story. Like, that would be kind of cool if they actually did Snowcat.
Yeah, as a
maybe make it even a G.I. Joe crossover.
Yeah. All right, so we have so many comments going on, and we do have to talk news. He just got Cyclonus in the bargain bin, and he's still good. I love New York Hunter. He is a blast to have. I would actually like to have him on the show. So let's get into the news. So let's do this. Guys, thank you so much for joining us and being so active in the chat. I feel like this is going to be a really fun show. TF Con Chicago, October 24th to 26th, 2025. Rodimus Primal, you going to be there?
I am still on the fence about that because I would have to get a hotel room and a flight because there's no way I would be driving up to Chicago. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. That'll be a tough one. So,
okay,
no worries. Well, hopefully we might be able to see you there. I know for us it's about a 8-hour drive from Knoxville.
12 for me.
So, good old East Tennessee, but it's a straight shot for us. So on that, and so Transformers Underground, the shop, Tim Riggins playing, so definitely check that out. But here's some news and products we got. So first we're going to start out with some Hasbro and Takara. And so Age of the Primes and Studio Series, as we saw, they've already leaked some of the figures that are going to be coming out for both of those. And there are some really, really cool ones coming out. And I'd love to hear which ones you're excited about. Of course, I am very excited about Kranix. We're going to be getting a Kranix figure, which is going to be very, very cool. I'm also excited about a big Convoy, which is going to be
super excited. Awesome. I was just playing with Magmatron
So
today.
Rodimus, which ones are you looking forward to?
Oh boy. I want that full-on Bruticus.
Yes.
I got, like, we already got Vortex coming. So definitely the new I definitely want to do Bruticus. I can't wait until we finally see what Studio Series 86 Megatron is going to look like.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Digital Apple just said. Like, I'm commenting back right now.
When I talked to Evan about it, they said they had not yet gotten in the next tooling for it, and there are things that they're working on. and he said it will look good next to Studio Series 86 Prime.
Well, that's good.
Well, that's what it's about,
So
right?
that's right out of Evan's mouth to my ears. So out of my mouth. So is what he said about it. Of the other leaks, my gosh, there was a whole list of stuff.
It was a lot.
Massive.
Yeah,
it was
the
a
Kranix
lot.
figure, I think would be cool. I do want to see more Lithonians. Like I would like the female Lithonian so we can get a Nancy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gosh. I'm trying to remember. Sure Shot. I want to complete the Target Masters.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder. Yeah, Wind Charger.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Mini bots finished. Shockwave.
Yep. Somebody just also said, "What's that 86 Shockwave going to look like?"
We know that 86 Soundwave is going to be the same scale as Blaster because we know that the Netflix one was a little bit shorter. So Soundwave is going to be a little bit taller with a new mold.
That's going to be so much fun.
And I wonder if they're going to adjust his chest a little bit. That would be interesting if they actually do that. Because if they do Kranix, then they also have to do Arbalest.
Yep. Absolutely. And we better get the trays. I want to see some really wicked accessories. Kingdom Heart Bluey wants Power Glide. I love Power Glide. Yeah. Who doesn't love Power Glide?
Okay. Is Mommy here?
Female Junkions like Nancy and Rummage. Yeah, that's Rodimus just said, wants that Nancy.
Close the door.
Yeah. Looking forward to Wind Charger and Cliff Jumper retool of Bumblebee. Absolutely. I think everybody secretly loves Wind Charger.
For me, it's like, that, like you said, Bruticus. Man, when they announced that Vortex, that just came out of left field for me. I was like, what? That's going to be awesome. So that mold, that alt form for it and everything looks really, really great. So
like the list was so large.
Yeah, it is.
That was the thing. It was like literally like an info dump.
We're getting a Beast Wars Quick Strike. I mean, that's so cool. I'm honestly excited for that.
That's it. Well, we could spend the whole show talking about that league.
I wanted to see what else was on that list because that list was just huge.
It is.
And it was like last week. I know some folks. I wonder if they're gonna if there's like what changes are they gonna do to Skywarp and Thundercracker?
Yeah.
That 30th anniversary capsule line with Hound and hopefully a magenta hot rod.
That would be cool.
Yes. I would love a magenta hot rod.
But also Age of Prime's Quick Strike.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like Quick Strike's going to be awesome.
Like to get a Beast Wars Quick Strike, like that's to scale to be able to fight off against, Silverbolt. That'd be cool.
That would be great.
I can't wait.
I animated Ratchet. I wonder if they're going to use the Trailbreaker mold.
I hope it's a new mold.
Yeah, I mean, it'd probably be a new mold because they're probably not going to use it that way. And then I wonder if that Cliff Jumper is the Prime Cliff Jumper. Is it a Terracon? Is it like a zombie corpse?
Oh,
that's a good question.
So cool.
That would be awesome.
Or is it the living one? So. And then animated Rekar sounds cool.
I mean, who doesn't love that? Maybe they'll give that some sound chips and we can get some Weird Al clips. Garbage.
That would be awesome. But yeah, there's just
Big Convoy, something to be excited for.
There is so much. Yeah, Big Convoy to go against.
Big Convoy is going to be incredible.
So I got to mess around with that Triptychon.
Did you?
Yes.
I know it's shipping.
How was it?
That specific color scheme 1-2 was on the table at MegaCon. And I was messing around with it. I was just like, dude, this thing is awesome. I wasn't in on the colors. The purple was a little bit too bright in photos. But then I saw it in person.
Nice.
I was like, I'm in. Like, you know what I mean? Like I want it.
Yeah, of course. How were the hips? Did they fix the hips?
They already fixed the hips because the first run of them had the hip, the messed up hips, and they did a second run that fixed the hips, and then it got sold in Japan with the already fixed hips. And then now this version, of course, is already using that new fixed hips version. So it was already like been fixed. Like everyone's like wondering, because you know what it is that people hear about a problem and then they fix the problem in a running change and nobody hears about the fix. You know what I mean? So then they don't, they don't like, you don't hear about the fix for it after the fact.
I didn't check on the fix after the fact because my version had the hips.
Okay.
So to me, I was like, done.
Yeah, so the new version does have the hips are fixed. I didn't get the figure because I missed it at that point. What's going on, Candace?
Got it.
Hopefully Gary's doing okay.
Yep. I think we ask about Gary, or at least bring up Gary almost every show or every other show.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, I know this is shipping to people now too as well. So a lot of people are getting it in hands. So hopefully we can't wait to see some of the reviews. Also, the one that, of course, the Takara Optimus. A lot of people at first were speculating this was going to be chug size, but nope, Masterpiece, 9.5 inches. I am excited about this. I don't know about anybody else. I'm an Optimus Prime fan, and I really like it. I like the more like it looks very Japanese anime kind of almost to me. And I love, if I go into the next picture, just how everything just can be pegged in, and just like you said, it has a bunch of 5mm ports on it, doesn't it, Billy?
Yes, it's riddled in 5mm ports for playability, I guess we'll call it. I mean, I see what they're doing there. I love the Studio Ox inspired design. I'm going to pass on this one just because it doesn't fit my collection. You know, simple as that. But I do appreciate what they did. That the back end of that truck is the cleanest trailer bed or truck bed I've ever seen on a Transformer. So kudos to them. I think they did their homework. They came up with a really nice design and job. It's definitely just not mine. Rodimus, what do you think?
It looks amazing. Like it's cool because it's a stylized Prime, but like you said, I'm not gonna get it because it doesn't fit my collection. Like I don't have a space for it or a need for it. But I think that it's like this is like this cool new way of doing Masterpiece to be like a stylized take, and I think that's what they wanted to do, and they knew they had to do an Optimus Prime,
Oh yeah.
And the MPG line isn't doing, what's it called? Like it isn't doing like the numbers that they want, so that they figure let's do. I mean, they probably already planned to do an Optimus eventually, but they figure now's a good time to do the Optimus and get it out there, get more people, enticed about it. I love all the weapons that he comes with. I love all the accessories that he has, and I like the stylized take on the truck mode and the robot mode. So. It kind of makes you wonder if they would do something different with Megatron. They haven't. I don't know what they did.
I hope they do.
I hear that's good to hear that Gary's doing good.
Yep, I was just saying we did get an update. Gary's doing fine. He's fighting and he's as good as he can be. We love that. We love those updates, and we truly appreciate you for that.
I'm curious
if everybody in this chat is not subscribed to Primal Parodies and following Candace on Facebook. Get over there and show the love. That's how I put that.
The one I'm curious about myself now is just because we haven't heard anything is Peter Cullen, because from what I heard, what it was, he had just gotten fatigued from doing so many conventions in a short time span that he just wore himself out, and then I think he took a little bit of time like off for a little while, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of like, hey, is he doing okay? Like, we just want to know, like we want to know how he's doing too. So
yeah, and well, with the latest,
of course, he's being kept under lock and
key. Well, with the latest movie announcement too, so hopefully,
I still think it's a crime that both Gary Chalk and Peter Cullen have not had an official time where Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal, two of them voicing it side by side, coming together.
They could have done that in Rise of the Beast,
and they did.
If they did that with Rise of the Beast, that movie would have sold double the amount of tickets just for fans to hear them speak together. Yeah. That's it.
And
but
that
that's
alone,
producers
to me,
not
was
knowing
a
what you
crime
want.
That
couldn't agree more.
That's it.
Now, with this Prime though, I do love that they homage like every version of Prime. You've got the 86 Prime axe. You've got the swords from the Bayverse. You've got the battle axe from Earthrise. You know, like there's weapons there from every, you know, I'm going to call it mainline release that they've done. So it's really cool. And if this is the direction Takara is going with Masterpiece, it'll also give them some freedom about getting around licensing. So maybe we'll finally see a Jazz and a Cliff Jumper and characters that they've had a hard time releasing.
I can see that happening.
But I can see that. Yeah, as you said, though, I would love to see the Megatron for this line.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I wouldn't mind them taking like a swing at the animated Megatron design
helicopter
for this. That'd be
what I would
wild.
You know, everybody wants that like one-to-one aesthetic for animated, but honestly, I wouldn't mind a Generations styled animated Megatron. With the helicopter mode, it's still animated Megatron turns into a helicopter, but kind of has a little bit more of that squareness to him where it's not as cartoony.
Lanky. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
So like,
no, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I like animated, but I mean, it's just like I kind of would like to see how they would do it, like in a legacy style, so to speak. You know?
No, absolutely.
So, I know we're going to get into the news. There's 3 comments that I just want to pull up really quick, if you don't mind, guys. First off, Omega Maximus states, why can't I show it? Who do you think will be the new voice of Optimus Prime now with Peter Cullen retiring the role? Personally, on my end, I kind of hope he pulls a James Earl Jones and almost sells his voice rights for AI use, and we can just continue to hear that voice. I feel like his voice is so iconic, I don't want to lose it. Now, I'm not an AI guy. I don't like AI, but I did like what they did with Obi-Wan on the Disney show.
It's kind of hard to do with an entire cartoon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, to do that with an entire cartoon, because like, then what do you do? Then you do Chris Latta as Starscream? Like, you know, and he's been gone for so long. Like,
no, I'd keep my buddy Frank as Starscream. I think he does a fine job.
You know, I mean, yeah, Frank Totoro does do a great job as Starscream, but you understand what I mean? Like
I do. Fully.
Do you do that, or I mean, because the thing about every single voice actor who has taken on the role, like, do they want to keep that same style and feel? You know, one of the things when Walt Disney was Mickey Mouse, right?
Yes.
When he passed away, they kept the continuity of getting somebody that was able to be trained and take on the role of, you know, Mickey Mouse for the next role. And then when that one retired or passed away, they passed the role to someone else. And they've done that since Walt Disney stepped away from the role of Mickey Mouse, but they've kept the voice, even on different things. So why not keep Optimus Prime's voice consistent, but find some? And I don't think personally that like a lot of the other voice actors who have come in have done like a great job of that, except for, I mean, I'm not trying to insult any
Neil
of them.
Kaplan was the closest.
Like you know, I have a lot of love for a lot of people who do voice work. Like, I mean, Neil Kaplan did a great job of Optimus Prime.
Yep. Yeah. Just agreed. I fully agree there.
You know, I mean, Gary Chalk, I feel, is primal. Like, he is primal. Like, that to me, I know a lot of people are big Unicron trilogy fans, but like, to me, it was hard to separate primal in that way. And
especially because his delivery was very similar to Primal's deliveries.
Exactly. And so it was kind of hard to separate the two. And the same thing with David K. and Megatron, with Beast Wars Megatron. So so for me, like, any of the people who have come in the 2010s besides Peter Cullen, I don't know. I want to hear someone be able to tackle the voice properly.
Yeah.
And get that same nuance and feeling if Peter Cullen retires. I don't think he's retired
And that's what
yet,
I think
though.
we all.
Yeah, I think.
No, he has.
Well, what I think you could do is like
I'm
a
just
little mixture of what Billy said, and then of course what you said, Rodimus. Like you have somebody. I mean, even to this day, like who is the voice actor for Minnie Mouse? We met her at Fanboy, and when she auditioned, the voice of Minnie Mouse before that was getting sick, but you could not hear the transition between the two. It sounded
right.
exactly alike.
And that's what
That's
we
what you want.
want. That's what we want. But I don't know if whoever produces the next Transformers cartoon or movie is going to have the same, I'm going to call it attention to detail that, say, Disney's going to
But I think
have.
you could take
I don't think they're
AI
going.
and use it to
I don't think so.
not replace it, but supplement it a
I don't
little
think
bit.
so. I mean, I've heard
Like,
people use the voice changer apps and stuff like that to like
and it's still not the
right.
same.
Yeah, they have to have the
I,
same
I
cadence,
totally.
and they'd also have to listen to Peter Cullen go over and over again.
There's mannerisms that need to be nailed. It's more than just being able to do an impersonation of a voice, and that's what I worry about. And I feel like we can talk about this all night. So I'm going to go to the other question real quick. Dr. No Good states, how do the tariffs affect the toy market? After the news, we're going to get into that.
Okay.
I just want you to know that. You didn't miss it. We just have a lot of stuff that we're talking about beforehand.
Cool. So let's move on. So we're going to get into some third party here. New Age. I know, Billy, you sent this to me, something you're excited about. If you want to talk about this a little bit.
I'm so excited about this. 2.0 of the Dotson mold. So we've got Prowl, Blue Streak, I almost said Silver Streak, and Smokescreen, the elusive Smokescreen that New Age
Wait,
nobody
what
can
is
find.
that? Oh, so this is a third party?
Yep.
This is third party legend scaled Prowl. And their Prowl is very old. It has ball jointed elbows, it has ball jointed knees. It's outdated. And New Age has just shown this one grayscale prototype that shows they're going to be doing those three cars over, and they are going to be in a far better articulation and sculpt than what we've seen before. In fact, it looks a little bit more tune accurate than, dare I say, the Magic Square. So I'm very excited for this. Rodimus, are you into third-party legends at all?
I haven't been collecting third-party myself, and not like anything against third-party. Like I'm not sitting there going like, "Oh, I can't collect third-party." It's just like there's not one that has met the scale that I'm collecting because I'm just happy with the generation scale. I'm just happy with the Legacy, War for Cybertron trilogy, Age of Prime scale. And I don't want to get a 9.5-inch Optimus Prime when I can get one that scales with the rest of the figures. I want same thing with the Seekers. I want it all to scale well together. So the Legend scale is nice. I mean, because they're smaller, you can have more on the shelf. And the Masterpiece scale is nice because you can get all the weird articulation in places that you can't get otherwise. But that's just kind of why, like, I've not dived, and also price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you pick up the New Age Romulus, the S01?
I was tempted to do so, and I think price was probably the reason why I was like $90 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I the other thing is that like once I'd found out it was like saw how panely it was, like in order to transform it into the gun mode.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it scales with Earthrise Prime, not
not Studio.
It doesn't scale well with 86 Prime. So,
yep.
What's going on, Derek?
Now, this is interesting. Premium Collectibles Studios has this huge Unicron statue coming out.
Wow.
It's supposed to be like 39 inches wide. So it's big. He's sitting there. He's got a couple planets under his hands. He's sitting on an asteroid looking throne. So it looks cool. I mean, it's sponsored by Transformers, but yeah, it's probably gonna be way out of my price range.
Yeah. Looks cool. Not something that unless you have a giant display case.
Yeah.
Dude, I have a friend of mine who he has an entire basement set up. Wall to wall with stuff, lights, LED lights, you know, this would be up his alley.
Yeah.
Living the dream.
I bet. I mean, that would just, yeah, first of all, eat up my entire budget for probably the next 3 or 4 years. And then as well as eat up a lot of collection space. So, Billy, I know you're happy with your Unicron. So you're probably.
I'm very happy with my Unicron, but I like my Transformers to transform and be posable. So I'm not a big statue guy. However, I can totally see the centerpiece appeal with this. The sculpt is beautiful, and it's going to be gorgeous in someone's collection as I, live vicariously through their pictures. I would assume we're going to see like the Reflector Files put this up or something. Mike's a great dude.
Yeah,
so I kind of really hope he does because I want to see Mike's pictures, but yeah, I'm not in on that. I'm out. I can't afford it.
We're gonna go from big and let's get small. So
I'm buying this cute little thing.
Is coming out with this this Primus that's kind of, first of all, in its alt form looks like a globe, like you would get from school.
It's Cybertron.
Yeah. And then you got him in his robot mode. But let me just show you, just from a scale standpoint. There it is in somebody's hand.
Wow.
So it is going to be tiny.
He's going to be a desk bot at work, and he's going to be awesome when it's just so stressful and I need to fiddle with something.
It'll be a great desk bot, but it'll be a great desk globe.
Oh yeah.
Very true.
You know,
oh, yeah.
So what's the price on that sucker?
Don't know yet. They did not release it. I think I saw on AliExpress probably around $40-$50, but
I was going to say, I'm thinking 60 shipped.
Yeah. So, but looks pretty cool. Might be fun on that. DX9 Toys, as we know, they're reissuing their Capone, the G2 style on that.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Going to be masterpiece scaled, of course. They just look gorgeous. And there they are in their alt mode. There they are in their bot mode. And then here they are in their.
Just keep in mind that Capone, their Motormaster, is well over 2 feet long. Wow. I'm just putting that out there. I have owned him. I've taken him.
It's a big
he's
boy.
A big toy.
It's a big boy because I have it here. This is here's his scale next to Megatron.
Yeah, that's Masterpiece Megatron, by the way.
So that is massive.
Yeah, it's so good, and it holds together, which is the wild thing about it. That's a fantastic set. I had the Gen 1 colors, and just a great
I dig the Gen 2 colors, man. They look pretty cool. I mean, I'm Gen 1 all the way.
I love Gen 2.
They look pretty cool, man. I
love the gaudy Gen 2 colors.
It's like, it's like Miami Transformers. That's what they are. That Rodimus, any thoughts on these? What are your thoughts on Gen 2 colors?
I always liked the Gen 2 colors, but I mean, if they're going to be masterpiece scale, they're not going to fit well in my own collection. But they look awesome, And I've seen the Gen 1 in person, like at the, I think it was I forgot it was at BotCon or one of the conventions. Someone had it, out there. It looks nice. But it's just huge. So I'm like, where am I going to put that thing if I get that?
Gosh, yeah. I know when I got the Legacy Menasor, I installed that DX9 upgrade kit, and it made it bigger. And so I was just like, ooh, I don't know if I should have done that. But anyway, Iron Warrior. Now, this is a Transformer that does not transform. This is Rhubarb, a.k.a. Bumblebee, the animated series. But really, really cool design. Nice little, if you're an animated fan and you don't mind non-transforming.
These are Prime.
Yeah. Oh, Prime. Sorry. Yes, that's what I meant on that.
You're going to get a bunch of people coming after you over that one.
I know.
I'll tell you.
I know. Crucify me.
The animated and Prime fans sometimes go like this. So trust me.
But looks really, really good. What do y'all think on them?
I'm going to let Rodimus go first.
They look nice. What scale are they? Do you know?
I want to say they're probably close to Chug, but they are non-transforming. They're just basically action figures.
Okay. You know what? This would be really good for Prime fans, because one of the complaints I always hear about Prime fans is how they can never seem to get the good, accurate toys for those characters. They got to do a Knockout, because Knockout, they've not made an official toy that really, really like excited like fans of that character. So they should do an action figure of Knockout, because to transform any of the because the designs for Transformers Prime caused Hasbro to like pull their hair out to try to figure out how to get them to transform. So and it's kind of the same problem with the live action films. It's like, how do you get the toy to transform? And so like Knockout has not done had a good toy. So if they do an action figure of him, it would be good.
Oh,
because then they can just take whatever car mode, like the legacy one, and put that in car mode, and then use the I mean, the first editions were fine, but Knockout was like like, have you seen the Knockout toy?
Underwhelming. That's the way.
And the same thing for Arachnid. Arachnid needs a good toy. Like, I know they're coming out with a Transformers 1 version of her next year for Studio Series, but
I'm curious to see what she'll transform into. Is she going to do the helicopter, or are they going to do the other part too?
Oh, I hope it's a triple changer.
It'll probably. I don't know.
But she is so skinny.
But I mean, that's the thing.
Well,
it's like the first editions, they had to like really work their magic in order to get those toys to work. So
yeah, they did. Personally, I think these look great, and they probably work better as non-transforming action figures than transforming figures. Just like Rodimus said, very difficult to make them show
compromises, right?
Yeah, you have to with them, but I think they're beautiful. I'm not a Prime guy. I'm not. But they're beautiful. There's no other way to word it. And they look like they'd be fun action figures. What's Laser Cat Toys?
Oh, I love their Predaking, which is it's the kind of kawaii chibi style. And so they have teased their Bruticus from the back here. So and I'll show you my box of them here, Rodimus. I don't know if you've seen them.
They're uber cute, but I'm a pass on them, so I'm probably not going to get feedback.
I haven't opened them yet, and I definitely, it's on my list to do. But there it is. Like, there's a picture of him with the Last Supper, kind of Predaking, and there they are right there, and they combine into form Predaking. But a little cute. I think this is something fun that I'm going to do with my daughter. I'm going to try to get her involved with it. And so I'm going to probably collect that. They got a Volcanicus coming up. Of course, the Dinobots. I am a fan of Dinobots not combining. But the only dinosaurs that should combine is Dino King from Transformers Victory.
Yes.
But
I think we're all on the same page with that.
That's it. Dinobots should stay separate, not together on that. So, but any thoughts? What do you think of like this kind of like stylized, cute, kind of kawaii culture looking Transformers here?
It's not something I collect. I don't know. Like, it looks cool. It's weird. Like, cause if your kids get into it, great. But like, I know how my kids are, and they kind of like, my kids are weird because they do like accuracy just as much as like I do. So yeah, I don't know. Like the chibi style might look cute and be like, oh, this is cool. And then they put it down and then walk away.
Yep. And that's why I don't drop $100 on a kit.
That's it.
Because it's what I would do. Here, this is my favorite third-party manufacturer, or at least my top 3.
Hate you if you like Prime. It's fine. It's cool. It's
everyone is welcome. I like what T-Mouse said. He forgave me earlier for my mistake, so that's what we're about.
Yeah, but I think we scarred Cyber Billy, so I do feel bad about that. I apologized in the chat.
Well, I mean, I'll advocate for things out of Prime, and I know some people like love Transformers Prime. I actually put animated above Prime myself personally. If I was to like rank the two shows, but and I enjoyed them both, but to me, they're good. They're decent.
Yeah. I honestly wanted to see Smokescreen get the Matrix of Leadership in that episode, where like you thought Prime was going to die.
I made this, and a lot of people have come after me over this, but my thoughts on certain characters in Transformers Prime was Wheeljack is basically Springer cosplaying as Wheeljack.
Yep.
Transformers Prime RC is kind of like Chromia, again, also being called RC. And I mean, Bulkhead was done because of the Ironhide in Dark of the Moon was going to die. But I love both animated and prime Bulkheads. And I think what was the other one that and Smokescreen was basically like I had the story of Hot Rod.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kingdom Hearts literally just said Prime Smokescreen is a ripoff of Hot Rod.
And I don't hate the characters, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, but it's interesting. I saw this conversation, I think it was on TFW 2005, where someone said like that there are certain characters in different Transformers series or the movies or whatever, where people will say, "Oh, I don't mind this character, but this character is not the previous character, and we should kind of hold to that character." I'll give an example: Starscream in the live action films.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't know that he's treacherous, except for
not at all.
A little bit of teasing that he could be, but you never really see it in the movies unless you're reading the comics. But normies are not going to read the comics, right?
Agreed.
They're going to see the movie and they're going to see, oh, the jet guy. But he doesn't look like Starscream. He doesn't act like Starscream. He doesn't feel like Starscream. And you could have named him Shadow Wing, and no one would have thought otherwise.
Yeah, nobody would have batted an eye.
And
totally
less
agree.
people would be mad at his design because it was a different character.
Yeah, nobody would be mad if Shadow Wing was a giant Dorito chip.
Right, because it's a different character. Like, oh, this is kind of neat. He's kind of cool, but he's weird. He's different, but he's not Starscream because Starscream's a different character. And that's something that someone else brought up, and I went, that makes a lot of sense. That if you really think about it, if you look at other characters and other series and start to realize, maybe there will be less older fans complaining about the new stuff if you just named the new character a different character or made that character a different character. Like they wanted a gender swap Lugnut in Transformers Cyberverse, and Hasbro said no. And so they made a character named Clobber in Cyberverse. And Cyberverse actually benefited from that because, okay, yes, it was supposed to be Lugnut, but we got a brand new character that kind of looks like Lugnut, but she's a new character. And she's cool. And she got added to the mythos. Now you can get a Clobber figure and a Lugnut figure and put them side by side, and you wouldn't feel like you can exist in the same universe, so to speak, on your toy shelf. Whereas when you take a character and you completely make that character totally different, and then you name slap at an old character's name, you're like, that's not Wheeljack. That's not Starscream. And yeah, I mean, Lugnut's a better character, sure, but Clobber turned into her own character. So
yeah, which brings up to the point, like, why do you think we don't have a lot more new characters? Is it because of money, selling them toys, or
name
things like
trademarks?
that?
Because familiar names and faces sell more than new characters.
Trademarks.
Yeah.
When you have to trademark a name and put it on the toy shelf, that's what you have to do. So, but like,
I'm hoping the Skybound verse gives us some things. So,
yes,
which would be
Skybound's wonderful.
So great. I know, like San Diego Comic-Con, we're going to get that Siege Jetfire again, but he's going to come with the two main characters from Void Rivals, which is going to be awesome.
Yes.
And I hope
have you read Void Rivals yet? Or no?
It is freaking amazing. It is freaking amazing.
Springer and Hot Rod are getting some time in the sun.
Yep.
And
yep.
You had Shockwave in there for a bit. You had a Quintesson in there for a little bit. And then, of course, the Transformers and G.I. Joe universe. The only book I think that I didn't care for was Scarlet.
I agree. Scarlet was not great.
Yeah, Scarlet wasn't that great of a book.
But it's really cool. No spoilers, but what's happening currently in the Transformers comic.
I haven't read 17 and 18 yet.
So yeah, it's really cool. So not going to say anything. So we'll go back here. Ocular Max, really, really cool company. Of course, everyone has a Devastator coming out. We have Hasbro's Devastator. We have Fans Toys. We have X Transbots, we have Studio, and now we have Ocular Max, which is a little bit smaller, which is turning some people off, but I actually like it. I think it looks pretty cool. And this is probably the Devastator I'm going to go for besides the Hasbro one. Here it is in its leg mode. And then the gimmick of the wheel, which can change. So any thoughts on
that's
this?
so cool.
But I definitely, there's 2 Devastators I'm going to get, and that's the Studio series and then this one on that. So, but yeah, thoughts, prayers. No, I'm just kidding, just thoughts.
So I think it's beautifully designed, especially as a masterpiece, and what they're able to do with it. I think it's a standout by far. I personally am out of the masterpiece game, so I will not be buying.
And that's where I'm like more of a character collector than the scale collector.
Yeah, no. And if I was a character collector, I think this would be my Devastator. There's something about the smoothness in an Ocular Max figure. Most of their transformations you don't even need the instructions for, which is rare for masterpieces. And the quality of materials they use are always top notch. So, I mean, I think that is a beautiful leg. All right.
It's a major award.
It's a major award. I mean, they would be right in my front window. All right. Let's put it like that.
With the lampstand on top, right?
Absolutely. I think this could probably hold a lampstand. But yeah, so this is it. Happy accidents all in as well on this one. Rodimus, I know you're not a masterpiece guy. I too am limited in space.
Downscaled it to generations, I'd consider canceling my Studio Series 86.
Yeah.
Listen,
what's interesting is
coming from a guy that I know is a big chug guy, that's
what's
huge.
Interesting is Ocular Max is smaller than like a Fans Toys or X Transbots.
Yes.
So it's like they're stuck in between Chug and Masterpiece, even though they're considered
they're kind of their own scale.
The one that I'm excited about is this, but the original one. So this is, of course, Drift. This is the alternate version of it. They call them Stray. But here is, of course, the initial. If you're an anime fan or a manga fan, the initial D, the car right there. I love the fact that we have Drift as the initial D, and that's the one I'm going to get. But this one looks pretty cool too, as well.
Am I not answering the questions on my own channel? I'm answering the questions. I think I am.
There it is from the back.
Because they're mixing
so many
in.
Comments
you know what it is? I see a question and it's mixed in. So.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I was gonna say it's very hard to answer everybody tonight, which is a great problem.
Right, and not only that, but like I wanted to make sure I actually wanted to go on. Like I was trying to type on something, and then like all of a sudden the screen on my other monitor froze. So I was like, "Yay!" I was actually going to try and answer, but that's all right.
Ooh, I would love a Kingdom. I would love a Gamer Edition Bruticus Fall of Cybertron.
I would too. I liked the Fall of Cybertron games.
They were great.
I thought they were great.
They haven't been. I heard they're supposed to be re-released for like on the Xbox and stuff, but yet haven't seen it yet. So, but anyway,
I agree that we need a mainline Drift. Adam, I really don't think. I hope you're joking. I think that's kind of not right at all, man.
But anyway, what are your thoughts on Drift here? This looks pretty cool. Again, I'm probably going to get this one right here, the initial D version on it.
You're going to go for the one on the right?
Yep.
Oh yeah. What's again? What he's MP scale, right?
He's
these are masterpieces.
Yeah. He's in his world, in a world of their own. Let's just call it OM scale.
Yeah. It looks great. It looks awesome.
I'm a fan of robots and swords.
I think they should. Thanks, Tommy. They should try to match whatever scale that they know that their audience is for. If it's masterpiece scale, cool. If it's legend scale, cool. If it's chunk scale, cool. I think the figure looks great. So
yeah. If a robot has a sword, I'm probably going to be all over it. So I don't know what it is. I love the swords.
I think it's nice. I would prefer a mainline Drift personally. I just think that'd be so fun to hook my son up with a samurai transformer like that.
And then this was a teaser that Ocular Max put out saying, "Hey,
they're going to try and do an 18 van."
They are. They are, and they're going to have their own
That'd be sweet.
DeLorean, and so it's going to be interesting. So this is the only teaser they put out on that. So
That's going to be hard, though, man. I mean, I think they might get a. That's going
you
to be
got something
hard.
to show us there,
That's how I'm
Rodimus?
gonna worry.
Yes.
Kit, love us some Kit. We need an Airwolf more than anything, though.
Well, that's what this is right here. You know, Springer.
Yep. I love that shirt. That is awesome.
And then you know, of course, if you press and hold the button, it stays.
Yeah, and I love that the lights move.
Yeah.
Like it's so cool. Everything
that
about
was that was
cool.
one of the best, or the best collab, I would say.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, I mean the turtle one, I got on my desk too.
It was fun.
I don't know. There's too many large pieces just hanging about
on the turtle one. Yeah, but you can. Kids going off. But I mean, in turtle van mode, he's cool, and my son loves to drive the turtle van around because he's got turtle figures, and it's all cool.
Yeah, I get that. I do so much with my son that there's figures I buy simply because I feel like it would benefit him and his learning of the characters and the getting into it.
The one I was talking about, because like my nose being all congested and stuff like that. The figure that I was planning on reviewing is Titan's Return Fort Max, and I finally opened the box, and I'm having a blast playing with him with my son. He's like taking the head off and trying to transform it. It was a lot of fun.
We need a car. Yes, car.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be like the ultimate collab there.
Well,
absolutely. All right, what else do we have? Because we got a lot of slides and we still have a whole topic to
Star
talk about.
Toys, tracks right there, MP scaled, looks cool.
All right, let's blast through these. Let's blast through these third parties.
That's what we're doing because we're talking so much.
Toys, Insecticons.
Nope. Big giant nope for me.
There we go. I don't like bugs. I like my bugs to look more electronic.
They're too stylized. They're not.
This one's kind of interesting. Big Mac Toys. It's supposed to be 42.
Welcome back,
42
Jack.
inches long for their. I believe it's their Fort Max.
Yeah,
and it is going to be a monster, but not as big as that Lewin Resources.
So depending on price, I would pick this up, but it really does depend on the price. And again, we're going to get into that with our topic in a few slides.
And then Zeta Toys Mod Fans Alliance, they are coming out with it's kind of it's a very small kind of desk bot version.
These are tiny. These are very small. These, they're like a legend scale almost. Yeah. So if you wanted Fort Max on your work desk, that'd be your Fort Max.
Grand Max.
I think they run around like $60.
Yeah. That is the Grand Max.
Yeah, I'm just saying mold wise.
And now for something completely different, I know Billy is all over, is this Pop Mart.
Nope.
Optimus Prime bot thing, weird abomination. It's Pop Mart. They make some good action figures, like their Shazam and their Superman from Kingdom Come look freaking amazing. But this is I just wanted to throw this in there because I know Billy loves it.
Yeah, I love weird things like that. Thanks,
that Zurg from Toy Story.
But anyways, that is
the Evil Emperor Zurg.
The slides, because what we want to talk about is getting into collecting, and like what you just talked about, Rodimus Primal. You talked about like you're more of that Kingdom, War for Cybertron, that type of stuff. Billy's into Legends. I'm into character kind of collecting. I'm kind of all over the place and things like that. So when did you, I would just love to ask the question, when did you make that decision to go, hey, this is kind of the way I want to go with my collection?
Because I what happened was like I went all in with RID 01 in 01. Like I just went completely all in. I tried to do so with Unicron Trilogy, and then I was already collecting Beast Wars, collecting G1, and I had so many freaking figures. It was like where do I go with this? I ended up getting the alternator stuff, and as I was like getting more alternators figures, that's funny. Wait, what is that? I was like, the scale is a little bit too big for the rest of the toys, And then I kind of stopped collecting a little bit, like during like the movies and animated. I kind of slowed down. I just went for the generation stuff because the masterpiece would take forever to get the next character. And so I just kind of went there. And then I slowed down in collecting until about Titan's Return. And then I went all in at that point and, try to collect a lot of the figures from Titan's Return and moving forward. But once War for Cybertron started giving us like Generation 1 bots with all the articulation that we wanted from those old characters, and then they're giving us pretty much most of the characters we want. I'm like, this is the first time that they've really done so, because everything from when Classic started in 06 until the Prime Wars trilogy finished, what we basically got was IDW Transformers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
New generations, like design. It was like not really giving us like an opposable Generation 1 toy. And so that's kind of where I was like, I'm all in with the War for Cybertron stuff. But then it's like I come to the realization, I'm like, I can't collect the masterpiece stuff too, and have kids who want to have their toys and all that and be able to afford it all. So it's affordability is one thing, scale, already having a large collection of pretty much all in that one scale. You're already like, I can't just go like up, down, left, right, all over the place. Like I can't collect a giant 9-inch tall Optimus and then a legend scale blaster. Like, I mean, unless the blaster is just used for alt mode, it's just not going to work. So it's like a matter of like, I love how War for Cybertron went into one scale, and I was just like, this is where I'm going. Awesome. And like, this is how it's gonna. It looks great on display. If I could show it all here.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And being able to put it there in that way, and it's just been enjoyable that way. So, not to mention that they're not over complicated. The masterpiece toys, I can't like enjoy it with my kids and try to transform it. You're going to spend half an hour, which that actually does remind me, I should get a third-party blaster just for that small boombox mode.
Yeah. Get the new age one. It's fantastic. Okay. I'll send you.
If you wanted to go with Studio 86, you probably want to go with Dr. Wu.
Oh, did Dr. Wu do a blaster? Then you want that beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Okay. Here's his little teeny tiny blaster right there. So, but yeah, if you put him in alt mode, this will go great with like an Optimus or like your Kingdom or something like that. So, but
right.
When you think about, but when you think about, you said affordability, and I know the elephant in the room is, tariffs, things like that. And we don't want to get political. We don't want to get too political on this topic. We want to talk about it from being a collector. So knowing that, I mean, we've had times where our products have rose in price, lowered in price, things like that. So with the current kind of talk around this and things, how does that change maybe the way you collect or maybe what you're going to be doing?
Something, I want to see how it plays out.
Yeah. I that's where I'm at. I'm gonna wait and see kind of guy too as well.
It's because currently right now, yes, a lot of people are looking at the that's right. Okay. Are you able to put something?
It's taken care of.
Are we sure?
I'm trying to figure out why I can't get that to go.
Let me see here. I will work on it while you answer the question.
I'm so sorry. Guys, we're trying to put on a show and respect everybody.
Am I back?
There's no reason to come on here and disrespect people. Bottom line.
So yeah, I'm gonna wait and see at this point, because the thing is, and I'm just gonna look at this from the toy collecting perspective. Um, a lot of people are complaining about the price of everything right now.
Yeah.
And until things settle out, what we find out is really where we're going to see all of these figures that are coming out and going, can we afford it? And if you can't, if you can't afford toys, don't feel bad because you missed out.
Correct.
Like, I don't think that anybody should feel like that they're forced to buy a figure just because they want, like, unless you really want it, well, then you're going to have to save money to get it. And I don't like the fact that some things are way too expensive. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
You know, that it's, so for us as, temporary, the tariff saga will only be temporary. If anything, it'll temporarily elevate imports only. And then the other thing was, and again, keeping the politics out of it, from what we've heard, is that Vietnam wants to negotiate. So we know that Transformers comes out of Vietnam. We know that some toys from Hasbro do come out of China. So right now, Hasbro may have to like change their game in what they do. We're going to see what they do. We'll see what they do.
Yep. From what I understand, Vietnam was offering a 0% tariff,
and that might even lower prices.
Yeah.
You know,
which would be great. I do like Smooth Hercules states a lot of retailers are honoring pre-order prices for now. I respect that, but being friends with several small business owners, I don't expect that of them. You know, you can't expect someone to pay out of pocket for you to get an item at a price you think it's worth. I don't think that's fair. I prefer to shop at small stores than Target, like a brick and mortar.
And that's why you're seeing some of these small businesses putting out word, hey, until we can see what happens, this may be what happens.
Right.
No
one has increased prices yet. Like, no one has gone out and increased the prices of goods yet. It's groceries.
Yes.
It's groceries that have been expensive.
Now, there have been, I believe on TFW 2005, someone put out a post that showed what the potential price rises would be.
And then TFW turned around and said, we're not, because we just don't want the political. And that's understandable. Honestly,
yes, I got the private message.
I don't care. Like again, because I don't. The two things I don't do on my particular channel is I typically don't swear. Although I know when I do have guests, I do know that a lot of them will swear, and I don't talk politics. What I will do is I'll try to give an objective approach to stuff like this, because this obviously affects our collecting market. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We're toy collectors, so clearly it's going to affect us. What are we going to see? I honestly think we just need to cool the jets, wait and see how it turns out. Hopefully it doesn't. And if it does, then it's like, come on, guys. This is too much.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. And New York Hunter, it's time to reevaluate what you want in your collection for the better.
That is another reason why probably I made a wise decision to stick with, the more affordable stuff.
Well, I think something else that you've done really well, Rodimus, and it's something that even I begin thinking about, even for my channel and stuff like that, is you put out a lot of great retrospectives. Like you have great content that doesn't even involve toys, that you're able to speak to the history and you're able to speak to different things like that. And so I think, I wonder if you'll start seeing some other toy tubers or YouTubers begin to speak that way.
I've seen people trying to do that. I know I need to work on my next one, and I've been working on a script, and it just, because I just had a lot of stuff happening, in real life that's kind of like slowed me down a little bit. But doing all the work for those retrospectives is a lot of work.
Oh, I bet.
Because you got to do the research for those characters. You have to. I make it a point that to at least have watched the media. You know what I mean? Like, appreciate that, Victor.
We're all big fans of Rodimus.
I put the work in to really do, I'll read the comic books, I'll watch the movies, I'll watch the TV shows, I'll look at the action figures and try to figure out if I have the image, if I have the toy handy, I'll even take those images and put them into my own retrospectives as well. So all of that work that goes into it, and it takes a long time to really like one of the, and so much editing, because one of the I've said this before to myself as I've been doing the editing, is like, if you look at one of my retrospectives where I have like the toys all lined up, I'm photoshopping that all,
Yeah.
and I'm using an older version of Photoshop, so it doesn't remove the background automatically.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So I'm painstakingly
brutal,
going through to make sure, because when you have a character like Red Alert who's all white, and the image that I have for Red Alert isn't a white background, do you know how long it takes me to edit that?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, why can't they put all this on green screen?
exactly, right? Or trying to remove it. So I'll make it a ping file without the without the background.
Yeah.
And then this way that I can put it on my red grid background, or purple grid background. And so I do all that, and that takes a long time too. And then again, watching the movies, watching the TV shows, watching all that stuff, because I don't want the script to be wrong.
Yeah.
And
you don't want to call, Bumblebee Prime, Bumblebee Animated, or anything like that, like someone did earlier in this show. You want to make sure you get all that accurate.
Yep. Yeah. No, I think we all appreciate the retrospectives.
I love them.
Everyone,
because for me, I'm one of those guys that I can read something and forget it in 5 minutes. And except there's certain movies, like I can quote Blazing Saddles from start to finish. But
I believe you're looking for two.
Just don't do so. Just don't do so without anybody getting flipping out. Like,
that's it. We're not getting political.
Oh man, they can never make that movie again today.
Or Tropic Thunder. Oh my god.
Yeah. That one
even
too.
for more recent.
I think Tropic Thunder was the end of it. That probably was the end. So again, with the tariff discussion and the prices, I agree with you that we need to kind of just watch.
Yeah.
Let's see where we're going. What's going to happen? I mean, I'm a Legends collector. I've gotten out of mainline. I will only kind of buy the figures that speak to me. Like I have Star Convoy pre-ordered. He, to me, will fit with my scales and what I do. But I don't think it's going to be as crazy as they think it is.
Because a lot of yours comes from China, Billy. So
everything I buy comes directly from China. I have not seen any increases yet. I have not even gotten a notification.
Well, I even think
that
it's under $800 is exempt.
Yeah, so then there's going to be no change for me as a collector. There's no price change. So if you're one of those people that you're buying at Shozy store, or
Naked Gun will be the test.
It would be awesome.
Naked Gun's going to be
dude, and the fact that they're making Liam Neeson that he's his son.
Yes.
That's what sold me on it.
And it's going to be the same kind of potty humor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be funny.
It's going to be great.
So I agree. But now I didn't realize that it was the over $800 thing. I mean, that's not going to change anybody's collecting.
Probably
you can
not.
easily just
it will.
I don't see
the only person I think it changes is like people who buy wholesale. But again, it's a wait and see, because like you said, Rodimus, there's negotiations that are going on
right
now. For me, I've done the Joseph thing from the Bible. As Billy's gotten on to me for not opening all my toys, but I've got 7 years worth of packaged stuff that I can have content if I need to. But I think, it's one of those things that there's a lot of fear going on right now when, I like to live by the old adage, and I was a minister in my prior life of, no one knows what tomorrow may bring. You can only do what today has.
I wonder if the lag is coming from Restream to my channel. I don't know if that's a thing. Maybe if
I'm not seeing lag on our end. And on my other screen, I do have the show kind of going.
There's a little bit of an audio lag.
No, everything seems just fine.
Right. Okay. I mean, I know that maybe if someone refreshes, I just wanted to see if they think that was a thing. I agree with Austin here, where he says, like, more FUD than anything else, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what it is it's everybody is going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Guys, calm down. We don't know where it's going to turn out yet until we see where it goes, because everything's happening at a breakneck pace. We don't know how to react to it. People don't know how to react to it. And so everyone's sitting there saying, like, I don't know what's going on. Like, relax, take a deep breath. Do you still have a job? Do you still have, are you still able to pay your bills? The biggest thing that I think everybody wants is that, like, however you lean, everybody wants lower grocery bills. Everybody wants lower, utility bills. We wherever that comes from, but for everybody, right now, everybody's scared. Just take a deep breath, wait and see. If it gets worse, then we have right to complain.
Yeah.
Like, just chill out, relax. It's not the end. Like, collecting action figures is a luxury, no matter how you look at it.
Absolutely.
We all love doing it because it's our hobby, but it is a luxury. So
we do have some comments that I just want to bring in. New York Hunter, who I'm a big fan of. Are you able to handle your necessities? Our hobby is not a necessity, and a lot of people tend to forget that it is a true luxury. Zane, I'm a big fan of Zane. Zane is always a contributor to the show. Just chiming in, he's under the weather. He wanted to give Rodimus Primal his flowers for having such an amazing catalog of Transformers content. This I'm bringing up because I just feel it is definitely deserved after a little bit of a tough spot.
That's fine.
And then wasn't it revealed from Digital Apple, toys may not be affected?
Not be, right?
Yes, they may not, but there's so much talk in the community of fear, of people being worried that they're just going to get priced out. And that's why we felt that tonight's topic
Switch 2. The Switch 2 is before even the whole things got signed and happened. The Switch 2 pricing caused everybody to go, oh my God, $80, $90 Switch games. Yes, it's expensive. It's much more expensive than it should be. Things should come down. But we got to remember,
it's not because people spend the money. Just, if people are spending it, and there's diehards that have to have the first Mario, that have to have the first Pokemon, whatever it may be, that are gonna spend it no matter what.
And that Mario Kart does look fun.
It does. It does, but if people don't put a stop to the spending, then they're going to think that that we're okay spending that money.
Supply and demand,
and it's never going to change. Yeah, absolutely. There it is. Autocorrect, you got that right. Autocorrect Primer states, my toy collection will never take over my food bill. I can't eat plastic. Stick away from chewing gum.
Put some transparency here. I just, had to sell off a large portion of my toy collection. And I know I did not make the money I could have made for it by selling it to a toy store, but I had to sell it pretty quickly. And it was all my 02 Masters of the Universe, my 03 Ninja Turtles, my Dragon Ball Z figures, my G.I. Joe figures, all of it.
Wow.
Godzilla. Had to sell all the action figures out. And it sucked.
Yeah.
You got rid of your Godzillas?
What's that?
You got rid of all your Godzillas?
I did. It was Trendmasters Godzilla too. So there were the smaller Godzilla figures.
Yeah, those were fun, man. I loved those.
So all of those figures I brought to a toy store, and because a lot of them were loose, he was like, and it kind of sucks because it's like you've got to pay a bill.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah,
and so you got to remember that the toy collection and toy collecting should not take over your food bill, should not take over your electric bill. And take care of your family first, especially for those of you who are, our ages, and we have families, have kids.
Yeah.
So it's, you saw come in and
agree
interrupt
more,
the
man.
show before. So
nothing wrong with that.
No,
kids are great. I mean, and
kids
what's great is, I think what's the great thing too is that you could share this passion with them too as
Oh, I love
well.
it.
And
I love doing that.
and get involved in their passion. The way I got involved with anime was my daughter was into it. And so I started
Yep.
watching it. I mean, I watched it way back in the day with, old school like Robotech and, all that good stuff. But then she was watching and I got into it and she, it was something we could share together. She loves Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles now. So that's something we can share together. And I think what being a part of this community and this toy community and things like that is we all share this love for this plastic crack, but yet it's something that we can pass on to generations, to our next
Yep.
generation and things like that.
My dad
Plastic crack,
actually
you guys
has that
did?
Godzilla figure.
The Haya Toys?
I don't know if it's that one. I know it's large, and if you press the chest, it actually does the whole roar and everything.
Oh, no. This is Haya Toys. This is solid as a rock and just a fully articulated Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Well, I mean, it is
rendition.
the one that he has, I think, is a King of the Monsters one, but it does light up and it does roar.
So
and it
I
is
wish.
posable. And he
wish.
has that. My dad has that. He has a King Kong figure. He's got a whole shelf of like Doctor Who, but
Cool.
pre Capaldi, and he's got like some original series Star Trek stuff, and like my dad loves, like, if you've been to any of the conventions, you might have seen my dad at the conventions with me, going around on his scooter. But he, Transformers isn't his thing. Like, he enjoys it, but like not to the point of like that I do. But he's more like into the sci-fi stuff. So when we go to if we go to Tampa Bay Comic-Con or MegaCon, and he can get an opportunity to meet one of the voice actors or something like that, or meet one of the actors in one of the shows that he likes. I'll give an example. Like New York Comic-Con, the two of us went to New York Comic-Con, and I've shared this story that my dad's a 9/11 survivor. So, and remember the Expanse TV show?
Yeah.
Right? My dad loved that show. So, we went to New York Comic-Con. The entire cast of the Expanse was there, but we got there at 9 a.m. before the convention opened, and the entire cast was there for the whole thing. So my dad and I got to get in there, and we're taking photos of the place and stuff. And so I start talking to the older lady. I can't remember her name, the actress's name. She's got an accent, and I can't remember her name. Gosh, but I think she was Madam President on that TV show.
Okay.
And I'm talking to her, and I said, "Oh yeah, like my, the show's kind of cool. My dad loves it, and he's a 9/11 survivor." And she took a step back and got the whole cast together and got them to take photos with my dad.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
And my dad was just like floored, and it was just like a whole bunch of fun. So like, it's literally 3 generations of nerds. Me, obviously my dad, my kids, and my wife. My wife's a little bit of a nerd too, so she's watched all of G1 and Beast Wars and all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun that way. And
so my mother-in-law was a 9/11 survivor, as is my brother-in-law, and they found each other in that. Yeah, which is wild. And then my father-in-law, he's passed now, but he was a huge collector of Universal Monsters. Okay. So he loved this stuff just as much. That's all. I'm just totally get it.
Absolutely.
Good night, happy accident.
Get back to work. Get back to work, happy. It's on his break.
Were they in the towers, or were they just kind of like got out, or?
So my brother-in-law's building was right next to the first tower that was hit. So he watched it at eye level occur, and then his windows blew out, and he had to run. And then my mother-in-law, I was a few buildings down. They were both in the financial district, and they managed to find each other in the smoke and the dust. So
my dad actually worked for Xerox fixing copiers in Manhattan. So he was all over the place. And if you're familiar with that area, 11 Park Place was where the Xerox's office were. So that morning, my dad had a service call, 8 a.m. He needed to fix a copier. He gets there. He's like, it was just a small part. He remembers it was just a small part that he had to fix on the 98th floor of Tower 1. I think it was the North Tower 1 or was it Tower 2? That was the North Tower, the one that got hit first.
Yep.
So 8 a.m. he's there. He fixes the copier. And he says the hairs on the back of his neck start standing up. But the person who needed to sign off on his on the slip that he did the work wasn't there yet. And he started feeling like a sharp pain in his back.
Really?
So literally, like almost as if by the grace of God, someone was grabbing him and pulling him to leave.
Yeah, to get out of there.
So he gets in the elevator, he goes down to the lobby, and that's when he remembers he got a cup of coffee, a donut, and a painkiller in the lobby when the plane hit the building.
Wow.
That's wild.
So then he goes outside, sees everything happening, and it's like only like 2 blocks away is where the Xerox offices were. So he went up there and watched everything unfold. And while they were at the Xerox's offices, is when from the angle, and I remember because I've been to that office before, if you looked at the trade towers, he said from the angle that looking out the bay window on the 19th floor was where you could see that other plane coming towards them. And so it hit the building and all that debris went in their direction.
What?
So then he was basically, from that point, he remembers trying to get everybody not to stay there, because he's like, we have to get out of here. People are jumping off of the building. People are trying to get out. Like, this was just like, and he said when he got to the street, that's when you saw all the chaos, the body parts and all that kind of stuff. And he didn't get home that night until 8 o'clock, because I do believe, even though they were traveling north, they did get hit with some of the debris. So, from the smoke and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my wife said when her brother and mother came home, they were just covered in that soot from head to toe.
They hazmated him when he went over the ferry. And when I couldn't get a hold of him, because I had a college class that day, and I was trying to get a hold of him, and obviously, where was the cell phone tower? Gone, right? So, and then so then my dad finally got a cell phone service. Someone else's cell phone was able to make a phone call and leave a message on our answering machine. I'm okay. I'll be home. And that was around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But eventually he did, make it back home at 8 o'clock that night. So, yeah. 2 hours away, pieces are still being found. Yeah, it was grim. It was absolutely grim. So
yeah, it was tough. My Uncle Mike was a floor trader at the time, and we didn't hear from him for 24 hours, and we thought that was it. But they locked him in a vault. Him and a bunch of people were locked up in a vault for safety, and they couldn't communicate from the vault. And then I have a friend that lost 13 family members that day. It was her 2 uncles and all their kids were all working there and just gone. So, but anyway, back to Transformers.
So
I think that deviated probably from the fact that we're on a wait and see kind of thing, and I think that
we are on a wait and see kind of thing.
And let's see how this plays out. Let's take it like adults. Remember that your family's got to come first, and that's more important. Keeping the lights on, keeping the the food on the table. Those are things that are important.
Now, Jimmy and I were talking, if this did occur, like the tariffs hit and the toys just become unaffordable, right? There's no possible way you can collect them all. That, we wouldn't be surprised if some reviewer circles start, sharing figures like, hey, I'm going to buy X, Y, and Z. I'm going to review them and I'll ship them out to you. And then maybe you buy A, B, and C, ship them out. And that keeps the channels going.
There might be some channels that are trying to see where they can get around it. I don't know. I think what Victor said here, give it 3 months.
Yeah.
Wait and see. Don't flip out, because everybody's going to want to flip out. I think that it's just a wise approach.
Well, yeah, and that's the first reaction everyone has, right? The stock market, everything pulls back,
Yeah.
but it all will regulate and it will all come back. The world will turn, you know, and it will continue to move. But I'm afraid that if I was in that reviewer circle getting the toys, I get the last one, and it'd be like, this toy is so flimsy and floppy, and it's
Yeah.
just like, you know.
Well, we would have to ship with a bottle of Kiki.
That's it.
Everybody would have to get a little Kiki,
That's it.
or
But
whatever that snake water is that's supposed to fix
so I
floppy
know we
figures.
talk about the present. We don't know what the future holds and stuff like that. And part of this is about the future of your collecting. So, regardless, tariffs or not, what does the future hold for you and your collecting, and what you're doing, maybe what you're doing with your kids, whatever it may be. What does that hold for you?
So for me, like, my kids obviously collect whatever toys that they get. My son likes Turtles and Mario, and they like to buy video games. So, there's that stuff. And then my daughter loves Barbie dolls. But for my own Transformers collection, I'm just kind of like trying to fill in the gaps for certain characters that I want to collect. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get, I can't wait for that Wind Charger to fill up the 84 line and Hound. And certain characters just kind of like fill in the gaps of where that I want in my collection, because it does come to a point where it's like, you want those characters in your collection, great, but don't let it consume you. And I think that's even that's really where it comes down to. It's like, don't let it consume you to the point where it takes over everything else in your life. So sorry, my sinuses are starting to act up again.
Mine too.
Nope, they're starting to act up. I get it. I've been there. I suffer from sinus allergies.
I had a cold, so I told you guys, like, so it's just, I'm still kind of like, ugh,
Yeah.
I'm
feeling all verklempt.
But we're not doing political here, but the elimination of income taxes for under 150 would probably help a lot of collectors out there. And that's as far as I'm going to push that.
I don't get involved in that political stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't, because it just it's basically, it's like, how is this affecting me? And yes, the toy collection does affect me. So obviously I'll have to look at it and look at it objectively. So and look at it from the perspective.
Yes, profile here is perfectly on.
Unicron, depending upon which version of Unicron you're talking about, Unicron consumed 23% of known universes, at least the Marvel Comics version.
Yep.
So
in a Duke out, Unicron versus Galactus, that would be kind of an interesting one.
Everybody wants to know what that one. I've heard people on both sides. Like, Unicron would eat Galactus, and Galactus would eat Unicron, and
maybe they eat each. Maybe they just become best friends and hang out or something. I don't know.
I personally speaking,
that'd be scary.
The deluxes, I do think, are priced too high.
I would agree.
I agree,
because
however,
$10 was when were deluxes priced at $10?
Let's call it 06.
So look at an inflation calendar. That's where you're going to see what the price should be today, by looking at an inflation calendar. And you'll notice, I think that they're about $18, $19, I think, was deluxe prices, from going from $10. So really, deluxes should be 20. If you really want to give,
I would agree,
like, get a give and take somewhere, like $20 makes a lot of sense for deluxes, but I think 25 is pushing it. And that's why a lot of people are like feeling like they're priced out. Voyagers being 35 now.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
That's still like,
that's a hard pill for me to swallow.
It's kind of hard.
I'm not gonna lie.
When you start getting into the higher ones, when you get into leader class and commander class, that I understand the prices. You know what I mean? Because once the price of the figure starts getting up higher and higher, then I understand. The problem has been, I wonder if Vietnam's current tariffs did play a part in Hasbro's pricing from the manufacturing of the toy, from what it costs to build it there and build it here. So
it maybe, but like I get, like, 86 Optimus Prime is totally worth the price.
Absolutely, 100%.
And I'm out of the chug game, but I did not feel like that was a waste of a single
Not at all.
penny. But there are just some out there, like the Voyager Siege Springer at like $30 or whatever it was to be. My copy was very loose and flimsy. You could see through the plastic with the review light, which drove me bonkers. And the amount of stress that was on the bluish plastic, the bluish gray plastic, just from transforming, it really irked me. And it was actually what kind of led me to dropping out of mainline and going into this third-party Legends collecting that I do now, where I don't mind paying a little more, knowing that I'm going to have a good quality figure with fantastic engineering. Now, Studio Series Hot Rod, in my mind, is worth every penny of the $35. It is accessory-wise, articulation-wise, transformation-wise. Everything about that figure is what makes Transformers great. So if they're going to give us that quality every time, I don't mind the prices.
The
but
problem is cost of materials. It's always going to be cost of materials. And how many?
Absolutely.
I believe Hasbro has to go by parts count. And so it's something that I know when I was talking with Evan at MegaCon about this, and they were talking about how much it cost and trying to put it all in a mold. And that's how they're trying to figure out where they can squeeze that budget wherever they can to try and see to make sure that they can get the best figure possible out there. Even if they don't get there, you know, it's something that they try. And I do know that they actively try, because you got to remember something. It's not that the people who are working on the Transformers themselves, Evan and Mark and BMAC on the Hasbro side, and Asui-san and everybody on the Takara side, they want to make the best figure.
Absolutely. And you can tell.
Corporate people look at how much is this costing us and how much return are we getting.
Yes,
and
totally agree.
When everything else is more expensive, businesses are squeezing and they're making things a little bit pricier. And so you're looking at it and going, where are you going to get this give and take? Because there does come a point where with inflation, it is costing much higher than it should. You know, even when you're adjusting for inflation. But is it the budget? Is it a budget crunch somewhere? What's causing the price of this to go up so high?
Yeah, I think we forget about that. You know, that with Hasbro being a major corporation, they have more than just the fans to answer to. They got to answer to stockholders. They got to answer to boards. Absolutely. They got to answer to health and safety, all that kind of stuff. Where like a lot of your third parties don't have to do that. But you know, like where an Evan may say, "Hey, I want to do this," and the board may they may say, "Well, that might not be too safe. We may want to eliminate this part or whatever it may be." Right. So there's a lot of considerations to think about when we look at, because when you look at a figure, you may have to go, what went into that? What went into that thought?
Yeah. Oh, I get that. And I talk with my buddy Nick from St. Mark's Comics regularly. He is Hasbro forever. He does not touch third party. Doesn't matter. I will give it to him as a gift, and it is not official. He does not want it. I talk to him constantly how the engineering we have now, from let's call it Siege to today, is everything I ever dreamed of from Hasbro.
All right, and that's why I went all in on that.
Yeah, it is everything you could ask them for. I only left due to the higher ups' decisions on materials and cost. Right. That's it. I want it to be known that the engineering team, the designers, are doing God's work. Let's call it that. What they're pushing out is fantastic. It's just the quality for me. My budget, I know what I can spend each month on toys. I want my dollar to be worth it to me. And currently, the quality isn't worth it for me. Not the engineering, not the designs. It's just the quality of what I've gotten in hand isn't worth it for me. And that's it. Like autocorrect primer, I brought this up. Clear plastic should not be something that they paint over. The Kingdom Rodimus Prime is fantastic. It's engineered beautifully. I had to buy 3 of it because the
spoiler,
the wind vane, the spoiler is clear plastic, and if you put it in the trailer wrong, it snaps and then it breaks. So whereas the Studio Series 86 had the plastic, and it worked just fine. It was a bendy plastic. Like, why on earth would they not have just used the same bendy plastic and go with a critical connection point to be this clear plastic that snaps and has a tendency of being fragile. So it's decisions like that that kind of led to me to move on. I have nothing against
Like, I
what they're
love the
doing.
Kingdom Rodimus figure, and I know that if they do a Studio Series 86 figure for him, they're probably gonna do maybe a retool of the face, and maybe they might do that the cartoon or the movie colors. But I mean, I toy hacked the trailer, and it's great.
It's a great figure. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Like I said, I bought 3 of it to make sure I have a perfect copy. And that's a commander class.
It's worth the commander class money. I mean,
yeah, it is. It's a great figure. It's got the articulation you want. The head sculpt's rough, but you know what? I can get.
Have you seen my pictures of the? Because I have him like he's currently behind everybody, so I don't want to knock him over. But like if you look at some of my, like on my Instagram, you'll see some photos I have of my Rodimus Prime, and you'll notice that I retooled. I clipped the chin, and I painted over the face a light gray.
Yeah, with the matte color,
and it looks so much better.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Send that design in.
I actually sent, like, Evan himself said, "Man, the gray really looks good on that."
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Rodimus Prime is my favorite Autobot. All right, I'm just going to put it there. The character development that we got as a kid in the 80s
is something
this guy
that you didn't normally get, because like other characters in the show did not. Yeah,
nobody got it. And even if you just go by the Yiddy episode, like it's mind blowing. And it's just one of those characters that I love and I will forever love. So any Rodimus I'm going to grab. 86 Astro Train is going to be a retool of Siege like Springer. I'm okay with that. They updated Springer. He works.
If they done well. Update him, I don't like if it's not a new mold and they retool him so that the shuttle mode looks better and that the train mode looks better and it's cartoon accurate. I doubled it. Because that's the thing. It's like I have Astro Train right there. Like I actually mirrored my in a weird way. I kind of mirrored these two shelves. You can't see it, but I have Starscream is up there on the top, and then Blitzwing mirrors him. I have Skywarp, and then I have Cyclonus. Because, Reflector, and then I have Astro Train. And then I have Thundercracker down below, and then I have Scourge. I have the Barricade and Knockout figures, and then I have Runamuck and Runabout down there. And then the Insecticons, and then the Sweeps. And then the Coneheads are in front because it couldn't actually match. But then I've got Ratbat like up there, and then Shockwave is up there. So it's kind of like 2 comic book leaders.
That's cool.
And then like I've got Ultra Magnus and Skyfire. And then I've got Grimlock, I got Optimus, I got Earthrise Prime riding on Grimlock. You can't really see it. And then of course you got the 86 Autobots, and they're all hanging out. Oh yeah, I have Blaster is up there, and then Twin Cast is down there.
That's cool.
So like there's a mirror on.
I get it. It looks good.
It's a whole idea behind the display. And then you can see the rest of the Dinobots. I've got the Beast Wars guys down here.
It's your own little Transformers corner of the world.
And then my kids come in here and they play with stuff. Like my daughter loves Lifeline. I don't know what it is about Lifeline, but she really, really loves Lifeline. And she's like, the character has no lines in the show, but there's just something about the color. She's a female. It's RC, but in that color.
Yeah.
She's a medic. She just loves the fact that the character is a medic. And she was playing with her like all the time. And then when I was at TFCon in Baltimore, there was a little girl who her father brought her around, and she was dressed as Lifeline. And she had a little Kingdom Cyclonus figure and a ladle. because feeding
That's awesome.
Cyclonus. And I was like, that is the coolest cosplay. So I asked the dad, of course, to take it. And then he goes, oh, I'm a big fan of your channel. And so I took a picture of her, and then I sent the picture to my wife, and my wife, like my daughter, immediately knew the reference.
That's awesome.
And it was like one of the coolest things ever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for medics too. Ratchet, Minerva, all those ones. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's something about someone that will risk their life to save others.
Yep.
All that. So,
well, I think we're hitting close to that time. Not to be rude, but I personally, I'm an early riser due to work.
I close tomorrow, so I'm good.
Okay. I think we've touched on a lot of great subjects, dealt with what we needed to. How do you guys feel?
I would say this. It's a great time to be a Transformers fan. Plain and simple. Regardless of what's going on, it's a great time, especially with everything that's been announced.
Think about it, though. We really had, like, Transformers. It tries to do something for everybody, and it's been doing that for years.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing that we're suffering from right now is we don't have a solid animated series.
Correct.
We have a solid comic book, right? The movies are, excuse me, are in limbo. But
I think they just announced we're getting G.I. Joe Transformers crossover.
Did they actually announce it?
Yeah, it's on IGN.
I believe.
Because the last thing I had heard that they said they weren't doing it.
No, IGN put something out today.
Okay. That they're actually going to go ahead and do it?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Next live action Transformers movie. This is on IGN. Next live action Transformers movie will be the crossover with G.I. Joe.
It may just be an article that they wrote and just put out there because they were supposed to. Everyone was saying, "Oh, it's CinemaCon, it's CinemaCon, it's CinemaCon." So, yeah, I don't see.
I don't know. Personally, I would have been happy with the TF1 sequel. I loved that movie.
I think TF1 was a great movie.
So, but I think we have a bright future with Transformers. I know Hasbro, even in their reshaping of a company, they're still sticking with Transformers and G.I. Joe as their main toy lines. So I think we have a beautiful future. I agree with Rodimus and what a few people in the chat had to say with, let's just stick it out. Let's see what happens. We've got a few months ahead of us before anything even really affects us anyway. And there are some countries out there that are already trying to negotiate these tariffs. So is it really going to make a difference? I don't know. For me, so far, it hasn't. And that's my line. That's my bottom line.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is like some people would want a sequel to TF1. Some people want a sequel to The Last Night. Some people want a sequel to Rise of the Beasts. Who knows?
There's nobody on this planet that wants a sequel to The Last Night.
Believe it or not.
I know. I'm just being a dick.
I mean, I'm not one of them. I'll tell you that much right now. But, it is what it is. Like it's a wait and see game at this point for fiction.
Yep.
But they're definitely trying to do what they can for everybody who's a Transformers fan, from the movies to the cartoon, the old cartoon, for every cartoon series. I mean, come on. I mean, during all the Legacy, they were trying to really capture the nostalgia for everybody.
Correct.
And they did so with Kingdom, with Beast Wars. They did so with throughout Legacy. They at least pleased the animated fans. Prime fans, not so much. Studio Series still does wonders. It's doing both 86. It's doing the games. It's doing live action, whatever it can, And we'll see. Like, so the thing is, it's been greenlit for G.I. Joe Transformers. Okay, so I gotta see where the news is on that, and hopefully that we'll hear more about it.
TBD.
Yeah, and then what do you have? Wild King. Have you seen that?
Yes.
It's very, very cartoony.
It's the one with the ones that combine.
Oh, that's the Chikara one. Yeah. I love that. It's great. It exactly what I need for my son. He's 6 years old. That's right up his
Perfect.
alley.
They just need to dub it.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll get a dub at some
Well,
point.
here's the thing. My 6-year-old, we've been watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And then we went and watched Zoo Ranger. And then we just finished Die Ranger. So they've watched Japanese shows. And what my daughter will do is she'll read, she and I will read the subtitles, but my son can't read, so he can't understand the characters. And it's just really, really fun seeing the Super Sentai, because Die Ranger is very different than season 2 of Mighty Morphin. Very different.
Absolutely it is.
So
I gotta show you this.
And
you probably appreciate it.
Oh, you got
Jet Garuda.
Jet Garuda. Jetman was great.
Yeah.
Jetman. I don't know if you've seen Jetman.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But I definitely will say that is a. And I actually shared the clip of the commander piloting Jet Garuda when she saved everybody.
Nice.
And everyone's like, why did you make her a 6th Ranger? And then they make a 6th Ranger in the next series. And then she was Ko's mother in Die Ranger. So she played a different character. And the guy who was the Yellow Ranger in Jetman was cameo in Die Ranger, who becomes the big giant turtle Zord.
Nice.
Or as we know him in America as Tor, right? So it was kind of cool to see that. But but the kids are now just starting Kaku Ranger, Ninja Sentai Kaku Ranger. And but we haven't gotten to season 3 of Mighty Morphin yet because they wanted to see all 3 of them. And I said, when we get to that, we can just watch the American version and try to instead of trying to correlate, because they wanted to see the differences and they like the differences.
Yeah.
So it's weird. My kids gets they eat it all up. They do. And it's probably because they get to spend time with dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think that's the most important thing.
Yes.
Right there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And same thing with video games. I got to record a video of my kids playing Super Mario 1. They're very, very good at it. They can't beat it, but they're very good at it. So
I still can't beat it.
I forgot the pattern for the final castle. I just can't remember it, and I won't.
It's muscle memory.
Google it.
Mario 1, Mario 3, Mario 2, actually even Mega Man 2 and 3 are muscle memory for me.
So yeah, real quick, Reactivate is 100% dead. It turned out that developer was BSing the whole time and basically ripped them off for their money.
Kidding.
Reactivate is not happening. So,
that makes a lot of sense.
But
that makes a lot of sense. So they took the money and ran. So they're probably going to a different game studio to get a video game made.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah, as Victor states, Reactivate is deactivated. It's a nightmare.
I have a
that's
something. If I was to make a pitch to make a video game for Transformers, I would love to make a create your own Autobot or Decepticon on Cybertron. So make it kind of like Fall of Cybertron, esque.
Yeah.
But the story is that you were a previous Transformer or previous Autobot or previous Decepticon that gets rebuilt into the Transformer that you create, and then you battle through and you meet all the characters from the universe.
That would be cool.
Days leading up to the arc leaving Cybertron, but you don't leave Cybertron. Or you are responsible for either helping the Decepticons get the Nemesis off the ground, or you get killed by a Decepticon. Imagine that is the whole.
Yeah, that'd be a super fun.
Yeah,
concept.
But you get to create a Transformer. You create your own Autobot or create your own Decepticon. It would be a really cool idea, and you could either and it's and imagine it's an open world Cybertron.
Yeah, I love it. As long as there's enough create a character parts. You know what I mean? I would love for some truly unique designs, and I'd probably enjoy watching other people's designs.
Oh, of course.
There's so much there in regards to replay and sparking community interest That it's a wonderful idea.
Exactly, and it could be multiplayer as well. You could make an MMO,
Yep.
or don't make an MMO, but like you could. There's an like a multiplayer online mode where you can like battle arena with your character that you've created.
Absolutely,
and it works within the game.
Victor's saying D&D style with seekers, wreckers, the whole 9 yards. It could be a blast. I love it. I think it's a wonderful idea.
That would be a great idea, and I would pitch that like either to Hasbro or whoever wants a game studio that wants to make it, and I'd write it. I would love to write it. So I'd get Flint Dilly involved because I could get in contact with him easily. And
Flint's a very nice guy. Really, just an all-around great guy. Sorry, I had to put Godzilla there.
Was he roaring at you?
He's staring at me, and then I'm going to start fidgeting with him. And I'm
gonna... I have was it the Godzilla versus Biollante? It was NECA that put it out, and it was just like super posable. Love that figure.
Yep, super great Godzilla. I really enjoyed that. I was kind of mad they didn't do a Biollante, to be honest.
Yeah, it would have been great. I mean, the only thing with the Godzilla movies, like I want to get like them all on high definition so I can watch them at any time and not have to deal with the ads or anything. So
so I just stream them at this point, but I would love a nice HD like box set in a heartbeat.
Well, I mean, they had the Criterion collection for Showa, and then
they do
the Heisei era. I think they just put out Godzilla versus Biollante on Blu-ray, and I'd love to see the rest of.
Yeah, that one was.
I'd love to see the rest because I have Return of Godzilla on Blu-ray. But the whole Heisei era I only have on DVD, and it's not like in the greatest quality. So even I even have the Japanese versions of them bootlegged before they ever got released here.
That's so cool.
Because I was like, I need to be able to watch them. I want to be able to watch the Heisei era because I loved it.
Yeah, which is so much fun. It's so much fun. It's so like it's got so many like anime like feels to it, like with the ships and just the way that they designed some of that with that Godzilla defense team and all that. Like it's just so cool.
They could. There is a Transformers Prime game. I know what is it like? It was supposed to be based upon what some of the writers wanted to go with season 3 of Transformers Prime turned out into that Transformers Prime game. So like the Thundertron character, I think it was, or Thunderwing, because it wasn't Thunderwing, right? If I remember correctly.
I think you're right with Thundertron.
Right, it was Thundertron, right?
I think you're right with that. Yeah, because that name's very familiar, and it's not a character I grew up with, so I think you're dead on.
And then because the problem was with Transformers Prime is that it went over budget bad. Like,
well, the animation was top notch for its time.
It was expensive. I mean, very, very expensive.
Yeah,
and that's why a lot of people complained about the backgrounds. But I think the script writers was they went out of their way to go against Hasbro's wishes in certain things. When Hasbro asked them to do something, they didn't do it. Like they were supposed to connect the Cybertron games, and Trypticon was supposed to get activated.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And it's because awesome. They in the games they turn Trypticon into the Nemesis, and so when they activated him with the Dark Energon, they were supposed to allude to that it really was Trypticon, and they decided not to reveal that in the cartoon because the cartoon runners were like this with Hasbro, so and the Rock was too expensive for them.
I was going to say, I'm sure the Rock
just that little bit probably cost them an arm and a leg for the Rock. So,
which there's no need for the Rock to voice Cliff Jumper. No. I'm sorry.
It's like, oh, the Rock is going to voice him. He's going to die.
Yeah,
really quick
within the first 5 minutes. Like,
and there went the budget.
Yeah, and that was like the budget of season 1, right there. And I think that turning Unicron into Earth was not. I never liked that idea. Never liked that idea.
I think they were just trying to grab at straws with that.
I think that it was, I don't know, they weren't trying to do something new and creative, and it's like it sounds great initially, and then in execution, it's not as great. So, but anyway, it's definitely, we're at the 2 hour mark.
We are at the 2 hour
we're at
mark.
the 2 hour mark. It is definitely time. In closing, we kind of all are just going to be waiting it out, seeing what happens in regards to the future of collecting for us, right? I mean, we all agree. Let's just see what's in store. I know some of us are not feeling the burn yet, and maybe we never will.
Right.
Who knows? But I do want to say that Rodimus, you're a fantastic guest host tonight, man. It was an honor to have you on. Loved your ideas, loved your thoughts. You definitely brought a lot of original thinking to the table tonight, and we appreciate that.
And anytime, obviously I'm friends with a lot of like the other Transformers YouTubers, like, so, it's great to try to keep the community going and keeping us all together, and talking robots for hours on end.
That's it.
So
that's it.
That's it. Well,
now also I do want to thank the community here. There was some fantastic chats going on. There was a lot of stuff we didn't get to because there was just so much going on. So thank you to everyone that tuned in and talked along. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. Victor, model kits are awesome. Jimmy G, what do you guys say?
I was going to say, no, that's about it. Now, when we end, Rodimus, it's kind of a Naked Gun freeze frame, even though stuff's going on in the background until the stream goes offline. So, but yeah, we'll see y'all next week. We'll have another topic. We'll kind of get that out to y'all, and y'all have a great day. So for you.